trying.
Right.
They're trying to separate her from him. Good luck with that. You see, Hillary Clinton will lead or be even in polls until people see her debate and see her speak. She doesn't have any of his charisma. She doesn't have any of his. She doesn't have any of his it factor.
And she never learned any of Clinton's political skills. She's just ham-handed. She's not.
Her husband. Right, her husband had it, right? Reagan had it. Obama has it. And, you know, a lot of people have it, and she does not, and that'll hurt her. But, look, the thing that's really getting hard is that it has now gotten to the point where some of their mistakes have become, I think they got too comfortable having the media on their side and entertainment on their side. Some of their mistakes have become so drastic that you can point them out and people will agree and can't miss them. Are you saving $2,500 a year on your medical bills, on your coverage? They promise that. Did everybody who like their doctor and coverage get to keep it? No. You know, obviously the Gruber thing is, I think, something that's going to grow. I don't think they're going to be able to kill that. You know, these things, you know, and I believe that with the Michael Brown thing, more and more and more the facts are going to come out and eke out into the public consciousness. And let me tell you, young people get angry when they realize they've been duped. And one by one, it's going to happen slowly, but they're going to get angry. They are going to get angry as they start realizing, wait a minute. So, because, look, guys, you can argue, well, his hands really were up and all this, but you are arguing because you're arguing out of lack of evidence. You're arguing based on somebody's statement who was there, whose statement has already been disproven by three straight autopsies. Okay, you're arguing from lack of evidence. You're arguing that because you want it to be true. That's fine. You have that right. But that's going to be hard holding up. And that's the kind of thing that wears down over time. There are fewer and fewer people now who are against oil and gas drilling because the facts keep coming out. There are fewer and fewer people now who really buy into man-made, you know, catastrophic global warming. It just happens. I think it's going to be very problematic. And the big problem the Democrats face is we got almost 2 years till 2016, way too much time for this stuff to seep into the public consciousness.
And it has to be, our angle has to be to push the mistrust of government as the solution for anything, because it's never been the solution for much of anything. And it keeps pitching itself as, but we'll really fix healthcare. We'll really fix immigration. We'll really fix your job situation. We'll really fix your environment. And they haven't ever fixed anything. All the best that government can do is get out of the way and let us fix it, because we as individuals will. And that's the message that we have to push, but it's a really heavy lift.
Sorry, go ahead, Fishy. My mic is acting up.
Sorry, no. What Leslie said brings me right into a point of something that I thought was really interesting from George Will today in the Washington Post. Found this, and he's talking about a book from a guy named, and I'm looking it up, Joel Kotkin, who is this lifelong Democrat who's just written a book, The New Class Conflict. And it's about refiguring how the American political system is set up. It goes into statistics like most people, or a majority of people, believe that life will be worse in the next few decades, which is more than twice the number of people who think it'll be better. And people don't really know why. But then when you look at things like the economic gains from 2009 to 2012, the percentage of people who had income gains, most of it, 95% of people who had income gain were the 1%, the wealthiest 1%. And he's saying it's because of a growing alliance between the super wealthy and the people that are running the government, the instruments of state power, as he calls them. And this is why, because the people at the top that have those political interests and that are heavily invested in donating to liberal causes and liberal government candidates, etc. Their whole thing is managing society because they know better, they think they know better, and it's all about them ordering society the way they want it without paying the consequences or having to live under those sorts of things.
And it's not the Illuminati, and it's not any of these shadowy organizations. But yes, you're right. There is a cabal ordering society for us, making the decisions, but they're not the Bilderbergs and they're not the Illuminati.
No, it's people who are doing things like building information companies who can employ fewer people than manufacturing companies and control a heck of a lot more wealth at the same time. So their productivity is based on ephemeral goods, things that don't have a product at the end that you can touch and hold. It's an ideological, or I mean, not an ideological, it's an intellectual property sort of thing. And that group is funding this second-tier group with, gaining power in government and building this. He calls the second group the clerisy. It's in academia. This is what Andy talks about all the time, where it says, there are many more administrators and staffers than full-time instructors. So there's all these people built around this whole network and this employment machine built around building up the power and the numbers in academia. And this great quote, he says, the founders worried about government being captured by factions. That was how they originally were worried. He said they did not foresee government becoming society's most rapacious and overbearing faction. And so what these guys do is they persuade and they instruct and they try to build the regulations that the rest of society will be ordered under. These are the people that work in academia and go back and forth between academia, government, regulatory agencies. Gruber is who I'm talking about here. And that's a class that also is into this ordering of other people's lives because they know better. They're all in that academia. Those are the people who've captured the attention and the loyalty, I guess you would say, of that younger generation because they have placed such people in a revered position. And those are the guys that are actually doing serious harm to people.
The most chilling paragraph in that whole article, and it's not actually that long of an article, but when he said that the clericy's policies include dense urban living as a sustainable alternative to suburban and serving environmentalism by consuming less. Hence, the sluggish growth and job creation since the recession ended in June of 2009, which we've heard them call, oh, this is the new normal and we just need to get used to it. And those of us out here in the real economy were like, well, screw that. I don't want this new normal that's sluggish and stalling. I want the vibrancy that we used to have. Well, the clerisy is not seriously disturbed by this new normal because to them, slower growth, smaller footprint for everybody, just kind of a declining lifestyle, getting by on less, buying fewer things, eating less, having poorer quality goods, that's just fine for everyone else.
And look at what it says right after that. It talks about that luxury goods are the only growth industry, the only industry doing well. People like that are making yachts, people that are doing high-end construction on large apartments. And that's the thing in New York, for example, in Manhattan, the new building that's going up is luxury apartments. It is not affordable housing for people. They don't do that because of the ways things are structured there. And then at the same time, what they're doing is they're attacking Walmart, which is where we live.
Right. Walmart is providing these reasonable goods to middle-income people. And the super rich, who are getting super richer, because they control and want to keep controlling government to direct things their way, and that's all their friends. And they're making us feel bad about Walmart, and we should go to our local co-op, and I should just be satisfied with paying more for things because it's better for me, they say, to buy local than to buy a bigger, to get bigger sweet potatoes at Walmart for cheaper, I should go to the farmer's market and get these tiny little locally grown sweet potatoes that are far more expensive, but, quote, better for me, unquote, so someone else says. And I should just get used to that.
Just
Yeah.
as long as you don't buy the raw milk cheese
Right, true.
at the co-op, because then you're
Yeah,
going
then
to have a
it's
SWAT team show
because
up at your house.
I don't know enough to really
confiscate it.
determine. Yeah, I don't know enough to determine whether it's good for me or not. But yeah, the luxury goods, and we're seeing some news stories of some of the luxury goods are absolutely insane luxury goods. It's like you would spend how many thousands on what? And it's because there are filthy rich people who have far more money than they know what to do with. And God bless them for it. I'm not one of these 1% haters, because other people getting rich doesn't actually directly make me poor unless what they're doing to get rich is controlling the government to screw me over.
Or
which most of them are
attempting
doing.
to forward that analysis, whatever they're doing with their private money, if they're investing in, and I do mean this in the word investing, very literally, investing in politicians who will order the world the way they choose.
Yes, it's an investment with a terrific return. Terrific. Because they can get a 100% return on their money.
I
Yeah,
need an aisle with politicians at Walmart so I can buy them more cheaply.
right. If we just got discounts on them, that would be great. Bulk purchase.
Well, one thing I like to tell people,
Hold on. I'm envisioning the Walmart smiley face where when the price is lower, the one thing falls forward and falls. I'm envisioning the politician with the 9 on him falling forward and being replaced with a new politician that says 8, for 98 cents.
That's awesome.
It's an awesome video because
You
it involves pain for politicians.
know what would be really cool if we could, the regular people, if we could, pool our efforts together and then go in and buy a politician, as a group.
Like a timeshare?
A timeshare. I get him for June.
That would be great. That would be great.
You got him for June. Yeah, I got a lot of good stuff passed. It was awesome.
And the timeshare marketing company is based in Florida, of course, because they all are.
Of course. Yeah, I like to tell people, I like to say, look, let me ask you 2 quick things. Number 1, does your life go better when you get to choose what happens in it or when other people force their choices on you? Well, when I get to choose. Oh, okay. Now look at the entire economy. Managing it, using government to force choices upon people everywhere has resulted in the highest, the lowest labor participation rate in 36 years. Forget the unemployment rate. That's the most laughable number in the history of the human race. I'm talking about the labor participation rate, the percentage of people actually out there participating in the workforce, lowest in 36 years. And that's a number, folks, because everybody's got friends. Everybody's knows somebody, and then more people who are out of work and can't find it and have given up. That's a number they believe. They don't look at that as right-wing spin.
Well, and it's not just economic issues, too. One of the articles that I came across, this is in Maryland, this is going on, is this rain tax. Now, some people don't know what I mean when I say rain tax, but it's sort of a program that a city puts together where they tax people based on non-permeable surface, and that means that water can't soak into it. More grass you get, the smaller your taxes. The more pavement you have, like parking lots, the higher your taxes on this particular thing. It's sort of added to your water bill or whatever, and it's supposed to be used for drainage projects and whatever. And when we had it come to Houston, what I found was that all the engineering companies, the large engineering companies who would be called on to do street and road and drainage improvements, were the ones funding the campaigns to get this done. Well, in Maryland, they've done this in this particular area. I'm looking at the article in the Weekly Standard, and it was in Prince George County. And here's what they did. They offered churches a